Okay guys, this is Mr. Brown, Maths and Science. Welcome to another video. In this video, we'll be looking at equations. We'll be looking at inequalities. Sorry guys. So what is an inequality? Whenever you see a question with this sign, or this sign, or this sign, any of this sign, just know that it's an inequality sign. What normally happens, an inequality sign must be in a quadratic equation form. As you see, this is not. For you to make it in a quadratic equation form, you must first transpose this, right? Let's transpose it and see what do we have. Then when you look at this is a quadratic equation, guys. Ax squared plus bx minus c. That's it, guys. Then first thing that you do, you're going to solve for x. You must find your two x's, guys. I'm not going to use a quadratic formula because I believe you guys know it. I'll just press it on the calculator here so that you guys can see. So you'll see, remember when I said whenever your a it's greater, that it's not 1, it's either -1 or it's -2 or +2. Just know that you'll have a decimal. So here is it's greater than 1, it's -2, so you must have a decimal here, guys. Let's see, guys. Let's punch this on the calculator. So what do you get, guys? You get a 1/2. That's your answer. Or you can say 0.5. It's the same. Then on the other side, what do we have? We have a -3. So you see, this one is a decimal. Why? Because our a here was greater than 1 or was less than 1. In fact, whenever a it's not equals to 1, you will get a decimal number, guys. So here we have our x's. That's the first thing you have to do. For you have to show the quadratic formula, or if you are a guy or a girl who like to factorize, you can factorize. But then I believe in using quadratic formula, and I advise you guys using it to avoid many mistakes, because the factorizing one has many mistakes, guys. So we have our two x's here. Now what do we do? Whenever you see this sign, just know that you must draw a graph or a number line. You must know that you must draw a graph, guys. It's either any of this. You can explain using any of this. Now how do you know which one is it going to be, concave up or down? Remember, guys, a quadratic equation is an equation of a parabola. And how do we know whether a parabola is concave up or concave down? We look at the value of a. Whenever the value of a is greater than 0, meaning it's positive, it will be concaved up. Whenever it's less than 0, meaning it's a negative, it will be concaved down. So in this case, guys, our a here, as you can see, is positive, meaning it will be concaved up. Then what do you do, guys? You put your axis here on the x-axis. Remember, this is the x-axis. We have a -3, then we have a 1/2 here, guys. Then you're not done. You must shade. And how do we know whether to shade, guys? What is this? What is this, guys? Remember, I said it's an equation of a parabola, right? So here we're given that would you agree that this and this are the same? This is y, guys. So this whole thing is y, given that this whole thing is y. So they say y is less or equals to 0. Where is it? Where do we find that our y is less than 0? Here we have a what is it, Cartesian plane. Here we know that our y's are positive and here are negative. Whenever our y is less than 0, meaning it has to be negative, right? So here we'll look where it's negative, it's below. So even here we look where it's below. Then what you do, you shade below. That's how you know where to shade, guys. That's how you know to shade. Let's come here. Let's say they say y is below here. If it's below, you shade here. Then in a concave down, it's below, you shade here. Then let's say they say it's above. In a concave up, you shade here. It's greater than 0. Then here it will be here. Then you're not done. There's this mark that learners normally forget. The domain, guys. You have to write the domain. What is the domain of this graph? X element from -3. But then we have to use brackets to explain. We have two types of bracket: the one that include, the one that include, and the one that exclude. How do you know whether you include? Just know that whenever your inequality is something like this, we're including. When it's not like this, we're excluding, because they say our y is less or and equals to 0, meaning we count to 0, we include 0. Where our y is 0, x is 3, right? So we include it. We will use this one. Then they say our graph is below 0 from -3 to a half. Then that's it, guys. Or some can use this one which says x is greater or equals to -3, but x is greater or less than 1/2. Some will say, but sir, how do you say that? Look here, it says a half is greater and equals to x. When we close this, guys, what do you see? It says a half is greater than x, right? Meaning x is less. So x is find where it's less than this one. Then we close this one, we look at this one. It says x is greater than -3, meaning from 3 there. Then it's also right, guys. You can use this one or this one. Now I want to change this inequality sign. Let's say our inequality sign was this. Let's say it was like this, guys. Let's draw our graph again. Then I said, what do? We substitute, guys, our x's, those we found, right? Doesn't matter the shape of the graph. In maths, guys, we don't draw to scale, guys. It's a sketch. That's why they will say sketch, guys. So they say our y is greater than 0, meaning it will be above the x-axis when our y is positive, meaning we'll be shading here. We'll be shading here, guys. Then how do we conclude? How are we going to? Just gonna say x element, then you exclude. How? Because where does your graph start to be above 0? From infinity, right? You know that this can increase. It's still infinity, right? So till from negative infinity. Why are we saying from negative why are we excluding negative infinity? An infinity sign is always excluded, so we'll use this. Then it ends here at -3, then we include it. Then we say or. This sign means or in probability. We use it, or you can write or. It's up to you. Then we start here, we include it, this one, up till where? Positive infinity. And we don't include it. Again, what is it? Another way to explain, you can say where x is less or equals to -3, then you say or where you can say and x is greater or equals to 1/2, or you can simply just say x is greater than 1/2, but then x is less than -3. So you can explain in these 3 ways. When it's like this, when you shaded the arms, it's like this, but then when you shade in the bowl, it's like this. Then you get your 5 marks or 4 marks, depend on the question, guys. That's it for today. Thank you.